Hey everyone, my name is Anna Miner and I'm doing a presentation on my business idea number 2, which is Wicked Stitch Clothing Company. I'm doing this as a refinement of my first business idea for Dr. Borah's Management 391 class. So first I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. I'm from Haleyville, Alabama, and I'm currently a professional marketing student here at UNA. I have a concentration in sales. I graduate in August of this year, so in a few months. I also have retail experience and I love fashion. I've worked at a couple different retail clothing stores, such as Buckle and a department store back home. I have experience in sewing and clothing alterations. I actually used to take up dresses and resize dresses like prom dresses when I was in high school with my mother. So the big idea of Wicked Stitch Clothing Company is that through this company you're going to be able to express your true personality with this clothing. The clothes are customized to your unique style and preference, and it's completely accessible and convenient. It's much easier than going into a store and trying on clothes and trying to figure out what you like and don't like, because you are going to be able to do this through a website, online, and through social media. All of the clothes will be personalized, and they'll have personalized detailing and stitching, and they will be delivered straight to your door in days. So the problem that this solves is that people tend to have difficulty in finding clothes that fit your style exactly. Oftentimes, when you go shopping, you see something and you're like, oh, I would love this if it didn't have this collar on it, or if it didn't have this particular stitching on the back. So it solves that problem because you get to create it yourself. Also, it's a problem trying to stay up to date in the ever-evolving fashion world because trends are changing all the time. Also, vintage looks are usually extremely expensive, so this will allow you to get a vintage look at an affordable price, and you're getting to express your individuality the easy way through your clothing and how you present yourself. Also, these clothing pieces will be customized to your exact unique sense of fashion through a description box that's provided on the website and through social media. So what makes Wicked Stitch Clothing Company so unique is that it offers unique patterns and stitching that will stand out from basic department store clothing. So when people see you with this clothing on, they're going to know that you didn't buy this at, Belk or JCPenney's, because it has something that stands out from any basic apparel. Also, customers are going to essentially create the clothing themselves, and then I do all the hard parts by putting it together. Also, the apparel is made to order straight from the description box that's provided on the website or through social media. And also, you're creating your own brand image. So this is a fashion statement because you've created this yourself. People are going to see this and they're going to think, oh, that's awesome, where'd you get that? And you can say, well, I created it myself. It was my own idea. The need and target market of Wicked Stitch Clothing Company is based off the recent demand for vintage and reclaimed clothing. So especially in this Shoals area, I've noticed that a lot of people, especially young women, have been trying to find or are wearing vintage clothes from like the 80s, whether it's their mom's clothes that they've found in their closet from, when their mother was in high school or college, or things that they found at the thrift store. Also, there's no real competition in this area. There's a few stores, but these stores don't customize the clothing exactly to what customers want. So I would be targeting in Wicked Stitch Clothing Company young women ages 15 to 30. This would usually be college students, millennials, or post-millennials, so girls that are still in high school. The market potential for Wicked Stitch Clothing Company is huge. A recent industry analysis that I found online said the e-commerce fashion market is expected to grow 8.8% by 2022. Also, consumers enjoy the easiness of online shopping because they don't have to go through the whole shopping process of going to the store, digging through clothes, try to find things in their size, trying things on. So online shopping is expected to grow as well. Also, as I've mentioned before, the vintage reclaim look has come back in style. As everyone knows, usually old fashion from the 80s and 90s is coming back in style, just like later on, fashion from the 2000s will come back in style as well. The market share of Wicked Stitch is that retail e-commerce currently holds 14.3% of the market. There's no established industry yet for online vintage markets. There's only freelancers, as I would be with Wicked Stitch Clothing Company. Vintage and reclaimed clothing has a potential for growth, as mentioned in the slide before this, so I expect the market share to grow quite a bit in the next few years. So the 4Ps, the marketing mix of Wicked Stitch Clothing Company would be: the product is a retro vintage apparel with customized details. The price would be around $40 per apparel item, including shipping. I've changed this because I noticed that $40 to $60 was a little bit too expensive, and I would need to lower my price to be lower than my competition. The place that I would promote these clothings and sell the clothing would be on social media channels such as Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and then the website that I will create. How I plan to promote Wicked Stitch would be online ads and through social media, especially through Instagram and Facebook. So the potential competitors of Wicked Stitch Clothing is hard to determine at the moment because right now there's no true competitors that actually customize the clothing. Southern Trash is a store in Florence, and it is only really the closest competitor that Wicked Stitch Clothing Company would have, because they do have vintage and reclaimed clothing, but they are a little bit more expensive than I would plan to sell mine for. Also, Free People and Buckle would be competitors just because of the clothing, the type of clothing and the style of clothing that they sell would be similar to what I would create. Some of the benefits that Wicked Stitch offers is that the clothing is created by the customer. So through this, you're going to get to express your unique sense of fashion because you created it yourself. Also, I plan for it to be cheaper than the competitors, and you're getting exactly what you want. So you're going to be confident in your decision that you know you're getting the idea that you've painted in your head because you actually created this yourself. And the reason that Wicked Stitch is the best idea ever is this is the best way to stay up to date with the latest fashion trends. And also, as mentioned before, you're going to feel confident in your purchase decision. There is a growing industry for vintage clothing, so I believe that this has a ton of potential to become a unicorn in the business world. Also, at the moment, there's no true competitors, but the ones that exist, like in this area, such as Southern Trash, I plan for it to be a lot cheaper than what they offer, so I have a competitive advantage over that. So, thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed.